The Vaccines Back in Love City album review. Let's chat about it. Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about this latest from The Vaccines, UK-based band who, in their early days, I thought they were going to be my next big obsession. I mean, their debut album, what else would you expect from The Vaccines? This was one of my favorite albums of the year, actually. Sweaty garage licks, catchy choruses, singles like Norgard and Rah Rah Rah. Come on, everything about this album just screamed like the next big thing for my taste, because I was super into a lot of garage rock and post-punk at the time. Ever since, though, it has been an odd, strange journey for the Vaccines. Both their follow-up albums, Come of Age and English Graffiti, both of them had really great singles on them that excited the hell out of me. However, the deep cuts on both of these projects were shameful. Easily some of those bland indie pop and indie rock I've heard all year. Now, I know I'm in the minority here, but their last album, Combat Sports, I thought was a really great return to form. While most of the album was pop, I mean, at least power pop, or, some variation of pop, I thought they owned it. There wasn't a lot of grit to this album or anything like that, but they owned it with really big choruses, big hooks, great riffs, and awesome energy. And don't even get me started on the Cozy Karaoke EP. Go listen to my review on that if you want to hear me be pissed off for 10 minutes. Now, these new singles, maybe one or two of them have been okay, but a lot of them worried me. The direction of them has worried me, which leads me to this album, and man, it's very hard to be a Vaccines fan right now. This album starts off with its title track, Back in Love City, and instantly, this is my nightmare. This is like the evil twin brother of Combat Sports. That album, like I said, they owned it. They made a pop record, but they made a really catchy one. This is some of the most bland pop I've heard all year. It's obnoxious, it's really underwritten, and very disappointing. And if their last album was a little bit cleaner, a little less gritty, this is even more so, to the point of a fault. It's not good. And Headphones Baby is just a little too bright and sunny for my liking. This is some of the worst indie pop I've heard all year. I would kill for a great riff right now, or a memorable hook. And some of these one-liners, come on, son. I almost turned off this album right there. El Paso is brutal. The airy guitars and the freaking hand claps. No, thank you. Not even that classy flute in the background could save this. It's just so bland, so faceless, so goofy. It's not even passionate. At least that would be a somewhat plus. This is heartless. And Jump Off the Top has a little bit of oomph, a little pep in its step. Really sucks to hear that this track is incredibly underwritten. Some of the worst writing I've heard all year. And it's really upsetting because guess what? When the Vaccines want to, they can write a really catchy track. Lone Star is really great. This is a nocturnal, sort of spacey jam with a really great surf rock lick. And the thing is about this track, it's well written. I feel like they took more than 5 minutes on this track. This is where the Vaccines could and should be. Wanderlust continues to make things frustrating. This track is great. I love the intensity here and the slight edge to this track. It's also on the more mysterious side. I'm all for this. It genuinely gets noisy and chaotic at times. Once again, I feel like this is where I'd like to hear more of the Vaccine stuff in 2021. I have a lot of the same things to say about Paranormal Romance. This track's awesome. It's amazing what just a little bit of energy can do. The hook is great, the riff is fantastic, this just works. And XCT is odd, in the best way. This is one of the biggest risk-taking tracks here. This instrumental bounces around so much I can barely keep track of it. And when it picks up, it's one of the most intense, heavy tracks here, and easily one of the catchiest as well. This is awesome. But the rest of this album, its final few tracks, just make it really clear just how frustrating it is to be a fan of this band right now. Bandit has this great groovy riff that I thought that I was going to adore. But then the Vaccines continue to bring things and lower the bar down with really poor songwriting and really heartless, passionless performances. It's not nearly as smooth as they think it is. And despite its cringe title, People's Republic of Desire might be the best track here. It's upbeat and it has a riff that is so freaking good. This is what I expected to hear from them right now. I hear a track like this, how explosive it is, how explosive the performance and this instrumental is, and it just frustrates me even more. As a matter of fact, it's so good that it makes me take a second glimpse at some of these worst tracks and realize they're even worse. And then I hear Savage. I love the grittiness of it. But once again, songwriting. This is amateur hour. And the performance is just as average. It's okay, but this sounds like any faceless indie pop group trying to get their footing, not a band that's on their 5th album. Heartland, though, despite some really cheesy lyrics, is one of the most passionately performed tracks here. I mean, yeah, it's not that catchy either, but they sell this so much more so than like 10 other tracks here. And Pink Water Pistols as a finale. This is not the finale that I was hoping to hear at all. As a matter of fact, it's a nightmare once again. Like, this album hasn't exactly been the most passionate thing that I've heard all year in indie pop, trust me. Then we hear this dreamy, dreary ballad. It's just not what I want to hear. I mean, the last time that we heard from the Vaccines, they were owning just how poppy they were getting, and they made a really solid power pop album. This, however, is what that album could have been. This is its evil twin brother. There are so few catchy hooks. There are so few memorable riffs. The performances, time and time again, are very average and passionless. And yes, there are frustrating tracks on here that remind you what the Vaccines can do when they would like to. But most of this album is one of the more insufferable indie pop and power pop projects I've heard all year. I'm feeling a decent vibe on this bad boy, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, guys.